Thank you very much. Please be seated. Mayor Reimal, thank you for welcoming me back to Independence, and thank you for the award. Dr. Devine, the Truman Public Service Award Commission, and members of the Truman family that are here, I thank you all. And a special thanks to my great friend, Congressman Mike Skelton, who called and asked me if I would be available. He knows that I basically look for excuses to come to Independence. I came to this part of Missouri so much when I was running for president, when I was president, that I realized that if I came one more time, I'd have to start paying taxes here. I am very honored to join the other recipients of the Harry Truman Award. All of us are people who, in a small way, tried to follow his very large legacy. I often ask audiences of young people when I speak to them, I said, if I ask you to say, what is the historical significance of Barack Obama's election as president? And you have to give a two-part answer. 100% of the people would get the first part right. They'd say, well, he's the first African-American president. He lifted an awful burden of history from our shoulders. We can now say to all of our children, you can become whatever you want to be, but you do have to work for it. And now we can say your work will not be in vain. Everybody would write some version of that. But the second part of the answer may be more important to our future. And that is that he could be elected president in no small measure because we are no longer a biracial country. We're a multiracial, multi-religious, multi-ethnic country. And we recognize that it is really dumb to focus on our differences when, if we maximize our common humanity and our shared strengths, there's no limit to what we can do. And that is a very important lesson. The American people gave $1 billion in contributions as small as 50 cents from children for that tsunami relief. And I saw in ways that I could never imagine on the human faces of little children the lesson Harry Truman knew when he launched the Marshall Plan. The stock market's up. If it stays up for 6 months, then you will begin to see positive economic growth. And after that happens for about 6 months, you'll start to see job growth. And you know, because grew up around here, I wish it were in reverse. I wish the people could go back to work, then the economy numbers would look good, then the stock market would go up, but that's just not the way it happens. But I think we'll be out of this thing by the end of this year. I'll be very surprised if it goes much longer than that. The main thing is we have to ask ourselves, how are we going to come out of it? And how are we going to make sure it doesn't happen again? And how are we going to make the most of this time? How can we build up the positive forces that bind people together around the world and beat down the negative ones? And the answer is you got to do something about the inequalities, the instability, and the unsustainability about the way we produce and consume energy. The good news is that if we do it right, it will launch, I believe, the greatest economic explosion of opportunity in the United States since we mobilized for World War II. Politicians spent most of their time talking about, and the press spent all their time covering two questions. What are we going to do, and how much money are we going to spend on it? But the point is, they all talked about what are you going to do, how much money are you going to spend on it. There was almost no discussion of the most important question of all, which is, whether you cut taxes or invest money, how are you going to do it in a way that guarantees that you will turn your good intentions into positive changes in other people's lives? The how question is the most important question. And we need the kind of practical leadership that Harry Truman brought to us. Answer the how question. Look, folks, there'll never be enough money to do everything you want to do. And even if there is, somebody will think there should be more, and somebody will think there should be less. You got to answer the how question. I'd leave you with that. If Harry Truman were here today, he would say, this is just like it was at the end of World War II. We got to make a new world. We have to make America better, and we got to build a world with more partners and fewer adversaries. And in order to do it, we've got to do a better job of answering those how questions, and you gotta help. Thank you, and God bless you.
Okay, hi, I'm Margaret Jansen from Leawood, Kansas, and I enjoyed Bill's speech tremendously. President Clinton is President Clinton anytime and anywhere.
I'm Asher Schlichelberg from El Paso, Texas, and I was inspired by President Clinton. I think it's important for all of us to figure out a way to give back and have a positive effect on America.
Cardenas, Neva.
Where are you from?
I'm from Oklahoma, but I live here in Independence now.
Okay, and give me your reaction to the speech.
Well, he always has great speeches. They're always good.